asking me your Lartey Wellness Group, why are you all hosting a networking mixer? And so just a little bit about us. We run a mental health practice, about 45 people total. We have offices in Maryland, D.C., L.A. We're about to open up our South Beach office. We have some overseas in Ghana. Well, we actually did a networking event in Ghana in August. We have some Philippines, India, Bangladesh as well, and Jamaica. And we actually have our team. So the team that's been helping me, they're outside right now. It's people from Florida, Jamaica, all over the thing. So thank you all. They've been just really, really diligent. And I just want to thank you all for attending this event. It's our first thing. We're actually expanding into marketing. And so the reason why we did this event was because we wanted to market our own event so we could show clients that we could market, And so that was the impetus of this. And I had another question of the sponsor, right? So if you all haven't noticed, the sponsor was God. And someone asked me, tell me about the sponsor. Well, I was like, well, we looked around, and we really couldn't find anyone to sponsor this event. And it blew my mind. I couldn't fathom it at all, because I've been to events that, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't as nice, and they had sponsors galore, So, and then, I'm a man of faith, so I prayed about it, and God said, don't worry, everything in faith. And so, I'll be your sponsor, continue to do it. And it just resonates to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that's doing side hustles, your businesses. Right now, you're at that point where you want to give up. You're at that point where nobody's believing in you, not even your spouse, your girlfriend. Everyone thinks that you have a crazy idea, I guess one person said the starter of Uber, he actually failed a couple startups before he even succeeded. And so I just want to, as a word of encouragement to anyone who's out there, continue to have the faith, continue to keep pushing on, take it one day at a time. It's going to get better. It's definitely going to get better. And I would be remiss if I didn't open up with a word of prayer from my senior pastor. So Pastor Yakubu, if you can come, just open up with a quick word of prayer. Just want to give thanks. And then we'll move on to our speakers. The speakers are actually the show. I'm just a host, some of them, run multi-million-dollar businesses. They're very, very humble right now, and so you wouldn't know. But afterwards, after the speakers, talk to them. Those are the people you want to pick their brains, how they did it. They're phenomenal.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bernadette Fobbs. I am a 37-year retired Army veteran. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And I started my company. It's called April Showers. The idea came from actually my grandmother when I was 9 years old. She did what she could for the community at every turn without needing to be acknowledged for it. She would provide a sandwich to a man walking down the street. She'd send sugar to Miss Pearl down the road. And from that, I learned how important it is to do what you can for your community. So April Showers provides mobile bathroom and shower capability to the homeless. And it's again, it's a bathroom and shower trailer. We take it to them instead of them having to find a shelter. There's so many of our homeless persons who have no way to just perform personal hygiene. And that is where God led me. So I'm so thankful that Frank actually mentioned that it is through God that we do things, because there's no other way for me to conduct this business but by the grace of God. And we have so many people in need of feeling like they're a part of the community, feeling recognized, and that they're not forgotten, and that there is hope at the end of the day. And it may be through that shower that each of us takes for granted every morning. It may be through that, the capability to go to the bathroom, without having to be outside or in the woods, or sneak into a store to do that. So God put this thing in my heart so long ago. I had no idea where he was leading me at first, because in the beginning, I would just give food and, clothing items to the homeless as I went out. Like I said, being in the Army for 37 years, I've been to a lot of places, and in each of those places, I would give to the homeless. I would actually seek them out and take them items. And God said, yeah, but it's going to be bigger than that. And here I am now. I've established April Showers, and we are providing the mobile bathroom and shower capability to the homeless across the DMV. We also provide this capability at festivals, jazz festivals, things, bike races that are outside. But the main focus is to provide this to the homeless, the people who need it the most, and to let them know they're not forgotten.
My name is Joshua James. Let me give you some background. So if cryptocurrency was a person, it would be me. So I do everything in crypto. I'm a designer, a developer, an investor, a consultant, and a teacher. I started dabbling in blockchain in high school, Bitcoin mining actually at my school. So this was around the same time I was teaching robotics programming, and professionally, through my own business, I actually ended up taking the program down to Texas and teaching underserved youth in a program where I actually helped write the grant to get permanent funding for that school. So I've basically been coding my whole life. I've been teaching my whole life. So when I was in cryptocurrency, I actually ended up looking at it as, well, I'm doing all these things. I'm programming, I'm designing, I'm innovating, and I'm investing. I need to teach the world this. So basically, my journey started in college. When the pandemic hit, I actually left school and I was trying to figure out what to do. So first I started out building a medical device. Then I actually went into AI stock trading because I thought cryptocurrency was too hard compared to artificial intelligence. Pretty much after that, I actually ended up trying to design my own version of Python, which I actually did because I thought it would be easier as well. After all of that, I ended up going back to cryptocurrency. I went back to cryptocurrency and decided to actually try my hand at it. So I finally looked at the code, which I'd avoided because I just thought the code looked ugly. I didn't like the code, how it looked. When I actually looked into it, I realized it was so easy to develop, I needed to bring it to everyone else. So fast forward a couple of months, I started messing around trading in cryptocurrency, and I was managing a stock fund. Now, this was around the whole AMC event where the market stopped following the fundamentals. So I got frustrated watching everyone get rich in crypto while the stock market was crashing. So I was like, okay, this is my escape plan. I got to exit. I left crypto. So I went from a stock trading fund manager to a crypto asset manager. The first thing I did, I started developing my first application just to test the waters. And at the same time, I began managing crypto assets, actually for one of the world's top payment processing vendors. This entire time, I was still midway through my CS degree. So I was working anonymously on some of the biggest projects in cryptocurrency without having a degree. Just me having this beard here, which I got for the first time, was enough on Zoom to convince people that they didn't need to ask about that. So I was spending all day and night in meetings and doing market research. My connections as a developer actually gave me a jump on the market. So simply me being a helpful developer and connecting with people gave me insights to the market. So I ended up in groups with blockchain experts, AI experts, trading experts, where it was making my job easier because I didn't really have to study the markets. Now, I went a step further, me being a programmer and trying to optimize, and instead of even having to check my group chats, I went and started using AI trading bots in order to not even have to touch the markets themselves. So I just had money coming in automatically. After that, I didn't stop. I actually kept trying to optimize. I went and got an NFT that actually gives me a drop on the markets and tells me what and when to buy and what and when to sell. So I don't have to do any work to trade in the cryptocurrency market, and I can make all the money. I went and one-upped myself on that and went to the level of, well, when the market was crashing, everyone who was making money was basically the platform owners and their friends. So rather than freelance and work on other people's projects and invest in their platforms, I invested in my own and built my own platforms. While I was doing that, I also invested in a cryptocurrency game server for metaverse gaming. And this server basically, at the same time while I was getting back into mining, minted tokens, tradable tokens, every single day. It was basically printing money like the Federal Reserve, where I didn't have to do any work. Not only was I making money doing nothing, I was making money out of nothing. So I tried to actually alert people to the deal. Basically, the way they set it up, it started around 5 or 6K. The last 100 server licenses they were selling were going to sell for 100K. I told everyone I knew to buy this server license. Nobody listened, so I put my own funds into it. Now, these servers are worth more than $70,000. In the traditional centralized finance market, they're worth over $100,000 before the actual ceiling price hit in the cryptocurrency world. Rather than just providing a subpar education, Infinity U is providing educational opportunities for trading, coding, graphic design, animation, and even more specialties. So everyone actually has a place in the crypto space. I'm actually providing the education that people need while also giving the educators the salaries they deserve. So the teachers in our programs actually make the majority of the money by default. And on top of that, all of the students actually get direct workforce opportunities coming straight out of our programs without having to go through four-year universities, without having to pay a whole bunch of money. And not only that, but we provide the federal and state funding at the top level for these programs to get funded.
Woo! Can we give it up for Frank? Listen, I appreciate everything that you have an intention, all this, but a lot of networking going on. We very appreciate it. I run a company called Disruptive CEO Advisory. I'm also one of the co-organizers of DC Startup Week, which are a story that I think have a big passion for grow and scale, tease and get paid for it. Unicorns, why they correlate in a few minutes, but let's start about the origin story. My origin story starts in the 1970s with my immigrant. My dad worked in factories, equity, and a lot of hard work. They moved to DC, 1970s. Society, politicians, incredible, beautiful, fine establishment. It argued for Montgomery County and DC's archives specifically about this restaurant because it brought community together like no other restaurant. But it was a beautiful experience at a young. There were 3 restaurants. My dad opened a travel agency. We weren't that typical Indian family in medical and lawyers and all that stuff, entrepreneurs from the core. My grandfather was a freedom fighter for Mahatma Gandhi. There's a lot of story and history. I was in my late teens when I started going on a mission of why do businesses succeed and why do they fail? What does that mean? We talk about, honestly, that's when